So Companion Druid received some love on the PTR for Season 6, and I'm here to go through all of them. Okay, let's start with the new key passive for companions, that is One with Nature. Your companion skills each gain one additional companion and deal 50% increased multiplicative damage. Gain the passive effect of Ravens, Wolves, and Poison Creeper. So what the last part actually means is that you can actually drop your companion skills. So here I'll remove them, and then if we just wait a few seconds, you can actually see them again. There we go. Yeah. So I don't see right now. I don't see the real world scenario of you doing this. Maybe you can drop off Ravens, for example, because it's the less damaging companion anyways. If you have another source for making enemies vulnerable, maybe that's one way that I could see it work. But for the others, like let's say Poison Creeper, if you drop that, you have a less reliable way of getting the Heightened Malice Paragon node. So that's one thing to note. And also the Immobilize is just too good. It's a crowd control. So if you drop Wolves, then I don't know what you're doing with your life if you're trying to make a companion druid without Wolves, to be honest. So okay, yeah, that's my thoughts. Is it actually, now the question is it actually better than Bestial Rampage, right? So for the longest time before Season 6, the only key passive we could use for companions is Bestial Rampage. And this is where we need to transform into Werebear or a Werewolf for them to get the bonus. And I think I like One with Nature more because you get the additional companion, and that basically serves as an additional missile for your wolves, right? So if I go and cast here, since you have 4 wolves, when they jump to a target, more damage. So one thing to note is I don't think the Poison Creeper and the wolves, they count as companions for your shepherds. So basically, if you consider the shepherd's aspects as well, you're only getting 75% increased total. At least for the base number of wolves that you have. Of course, there are other aspects that affect the number of companions, like the Moonrage aspect, where if you kill a 5% chance to summon a wolf when you kill, and this lasts for 35 seconds. There we go. One wolf just appeared. And one more is the Stampede. So gain one additional companion. In addition, your companion skills deal 35% bonus. So that's +1. So that's why we can basically reach a total of 7 wolves now, with 4 in base, and then we get 3 more from the Moonrage aspect. So if you have 7 wolves, that's actually gonna be a lot of missiles. There you go. Yeah. Next up is the Stormcrow Aspect. This is a new aspect for Ravens, where they now deal lightning damage, which is increased by 50%, and your Raven's active deals its full damage in half the time, and enemies inside it are stunned. Well, I don't actually like this aspect. If we're speaking from an end game standpoint, if you get it earlier on as you're leveling up, that's fine, use it. But it doesn't really contribute much to the damage of Ravens, because the damage of Ravens is low, maybe even very, very low. So increasing it by 50% is just not gonna be enough. So it's like you could better use another aspect instead of this. So one thing that what isn't mentioned here is that it actually makes the Ravens a storm skill now. So any damage multipliers you have for storm, maybe that would apply here now. But as you may have noticed, it's not considered a nature skill for whatever reason, because unlike in Storm's companion, your wolf companions are infused with the power of the storm, right? So if you go to wolves, they're actually storm and nature magic. So I find it weird that ravens are not for the aspect for ravens, they're not considered nature magic, meaning that the bonuses that you have for nature magic don't apply to this. So that's one thing, yeah. Hopefully maybe it does get the nature magic tag. But then again, the whole purpose of ravens is just to make enemies vulnerable. I don't think it would be good to have both ravens and wolves be your damaging unit. And then additionally, there are new passives for the druid that can be used by the companion build. One of them is the backlash skill. So you deal 12% increased damage for 5 seconds after casting a defensive skill. Another one is Feral Aptitude. You deal 9 increased damage while healthy, 9% increased damage while above 100% movement speed. So one more thing is where is the human thing? Yeah, here it is. Humanity. So you deal 15% increased damage while in human form. So as you're casting wolves, regardless of what you're wearing, you are casting it as a human. So we benefit greatly from this as a companion druid. And lastly is Catastrophe, which is you deal 15% increased damage for 8 seconds after casting an ultimate skill, which is why I am using Petrify now. Okay, one more thing that came with the PTR is a new companion board, or a new companion Paragon board specifically. So we have here a legendary node, which is untamed. Casting a companion skill grants 4 ranks to your companion skills for 5 seconds. So what do I think of this? Well, I think every rank of wolves, for example, is I think roughly 5% increase. So having +4, that's basically 20% increase to your damage. And I don't know, kind of feel like it's less, or we need more of it, because if you compare it to the other legendary nodes, for example, we have Heightened Malice. This is 45 increased damage, so 20 versus 45, we're missing a lot. And the other ones for the other boards are Thunderstruck. It's like 60% increase multiplicative damage. So I think I'm leaning towards it being weak, to be honest. But on the board, we are getting companion damage as a Paragon node here, and then on the other side we have lucky hit chance. I think the lucky hit chance is fine because we do need to trigger pack leader spirit boon, so that's fine. But yeah, I just feel like the untamed is kind of less. So one other thing that was added to the game for Vessel of Hatred players is the use of Runewords. So I won't go through the whole list of runes because there's actually a lot of them, but I'll be focusing on the ones that I find interesting and usable for Druid, for companion Druid specifically. So first up is Cry. This is evoking the Spiritborn's Vortex, dealing damage and pulling in enemies. So this requires 500 offering. So I'm pairing that with Yule Rune, which is cast a skill with the cooldown, and every skill that you cast would give you 50 offering. So in total, you need to cast 10 skills with cooldown to achieve the Vortex. So your Wolves active skill is not that great. It's just a small radius. But because of the Vortex pulling in enemies, you can actually deal damage to a lot of enemies. So that's one good pair that I noticed. And then on the other hand, we have Se, which is summoning a spirit wolf to attack enemies for 8 seconds. So this is just 100 offering, but there's 2 ways to do this. You can pair this with Soul, which is gaining 150 offering, evoke power from another class. So we already have that power from another class, which is Vortex. So meaning whenever you trigger Vortex, you will be casting Wolf. So that's one way. This is for more of a more consistent way of getting the Spirit Wolves. The other way that I am using right now is the Se paired with the Zan rune. So for this, you are gaining 150 offering whenever you cast an ultimate skill. So the way I've built my character right now, my companion druid right now, is I have Harlequin's Crest with cooldown reduction as the masterwork, and as well as my jewelry all have Petrify cooldown reduction. So my cooldown for Petrify is actually 10.18 seconds right now. And if you look at the bottom part for modifiers, hitting a boss with Petrify reduces its cooldown by 10 seconds. So this setup of Se plus Zan is very useful for bosses. So I'll show you in a sec. I'll just summon a boss here. And then I'll remove my companions. Remove the key. Okay, I already removed the key passive. So we don't have any companions. But when I do cast Petrify, as you can see here, I can keep spamming it. And whenever I cast it, I am summoning Spirit Wolves. So these Spirit Wolves that you see here actually contribute to your Shepherd's Aspect, which is why I have it on my two-handed mace. That is giving me 26% damage per companion that you have. One thing to also note is, I noticed this when I was doing pits, is that the Spirit Wolves, whenever you do summon them, they don't work as the regular wolves here. So when I cast the wolves, for example, here, they don't jump towards that target. They just do whatever they want to do. They just attack whatever enemy is closest to them. So that's kind of sad because you're missing out on missile damage, basically. I say missile, but yeah. So one sec. Let me summon a lot of wolves so you can see. And then if I cast wolves, yeah, the ones that are here, they're not moving towards the target that I've chosen with the wolves skill. One more thing that I failed to mention last time is that your Andariels Visage and your Fist of Fate can actually be triggered by your companions. So as interesting as that is, I was not able to do anything with it because damage over time Druid is just plain garbage. Yeah, I'm sorry. But maybe in the future, yeah. Okay, now that we've gone through the new changes in the season for Season 6, I'll just go briefly with the items that I have here. Disclaimer, none of these will actually matter until we see the final patch notes for Season 6, but this is what I have right now. So for Harlequin's Crest, for my armor, my helmet, I have Harlequin's Crest with cooldown, and also for armor. And I also have my rune word here, which is the Zanse. That's casting the Spirit Wolves. It doesn't really matter where you place your rune words, but I have it here. So for my tunic, I have Tyrael Smite for damage reduction and for resistance to all elements. So resistance is now harder to cap because of the difficulties that they've added. So at Torment 4, you're losing a lot of resistance, and so I'm using Tyrael Smite to cap that. I think it's still possible to cap your resistance without Tyrael Smite, but that would require you to use the resistance tempers a lot. So for my gloves, I have attack speed, critical strike chance, and lucky hit chance. I don't need the critical hit chance. I would rather that be maximum life, because maximum life is very much needed. So because of the numbers crunch that they did, my life right now is just 5,000, but that's actually a lot. So For armor, the armor is capped at 1000. I know I am losing 200 armor basically here, but I am trying to cap that with just using Song of the Mountain incense. So that's what I have currently. And for my pants, I have Storm's Companion, and yeah, that's basically the key for this build. And then for the boots, I just have a regular one. We can't use Wild Heart Hunger anymore because the unique power of Wild Heart Hunger is tied to the Bestial Rampage. So maybe if you use a Bestial Rampage, I mean, I did try to use Bestial Rampage to see if it competes with One with Nature key passive, but no, I don't think it's catching up. So I'm not using Wild Heart Hunger. And for my jewelries, I have uh, Envenom, Call of the Wild. I don't need the movement speed that you're seeing here. I would rather that be Quick Shift for more damage. And I am kind of forced to use a defensive aspect as well, which is the Spirit Bond. So that gives me 26.3 of the damage you would take is redirected across your companions. Your companions cannot die. So that is for pit pushing, especially because of the damage that the monsters do. They can actually kill your wolves, and if you're out of wolves, it is not a good situation to be in because you really have 0 damage. So I am having that here so that the companions do not die, and also for damage reduction. And so on my ring, I have Moon Rage Ring. This is for having additional wolves, and also gain +3 ranks to wolves. On my affixes, I have attack speed, critical strike chance, and critical strike damage. I think maybe the critical strike damage is too much here. Maybe getting maximum life is better now that I think about it. So we are trying to cap our critical strike chance here on both rings. That's why I have them as the masterwork. But yeah, for the last ring, I have Band of the Alpha, which is wolves are now werewolf companions, and they deal 140 in additional damage and spread rabies. I have willpower, attack speed, and critical strike chance. Again, maybe you can replace willpower with maximum life. That would be better for survivability. And lastly, for my weapon, I have Shepherd's Bonebreaker. Willpower, maximum life, and critical strike damage. For this now, we are using the new tempers that they've added, which is the chance for wolves to deal double damage. So I have been able to achieve a 100% chance. So that means they're always dealing double damage. Next for skills, we have Claw. And why Claw, you ask? Because it has the highest lucky hit chance on the basic skills. So right now we have 93%. And I am also taking the chance to attack twice. So possibly to trigger the Spirit Boon. The Spirit Boon pack leader. Yeah. And then on the core skills, we have Predatory Instinct for more critical strike chance. Next, for defensive skills, we have Earthen Bulwark, and just taking the Fortify node here. And we're taking the new passive Backlash, which is 12% increased damage for 5 seconds after casting a defensive skill. We're maxing out our Ancestral Fortitude for capping our resistances, and then Vigilance, which is damage reduction after casting a defensive skill. For companions, we're taking Max Wolves and then taking Brutal Wolf Pack. For Poison Creeper, we are taking the Brutal Poison Creeper. Ravens, yeah, you know, we're just taking them for Vulnerable. And for passives, we have Call of the Wild. This is gonna be the main masterworking affix that you'll be looking for in the amulet, and then Ephemeral Aptitude. On the Wrath skills, we just have one in Neurotoxin, one in Toxic Close, and Venom. That's it. And for the ultimate, we are taking Petrify, Defiance, and Natural Disaster. I'm also taking the Catastrophe for increased damage, and then for this part here, we have Quick Shift and Natural Fortitude for Fortify. Last, on the ultimate side, we have Defensive Posture for more damage reduction. And then on the key passives, as we've discussed, one with Nature. And lastly, for the Paragon board, I'm not capped on my Paragon levels, so this is what I have right now, because leveling up your Paragon levels is gonna take a lot of time. So on the Force board, I have Earth and Sky for nature damage, and then we're taking up Thunderstruck, key passive, and on the Glyph socket, we have Spirit. Next board, we have Outmatch. We are also taking the Untamed legendary node for the companion board. Some resistance here. We're taking Heightened Malice for increased damage whenever there are 3 or more poison enemies, and then Territorial to cap or at least to gain a lot of close damage to close enemies for our Thunderstruck key passive. And last board that we have here is for getting the Wilds Paragon Glyph. So every intelligence gives us companion skills damage. And we're not taking the constricting tendrils here because we already have poison creeper anyways to do that for us. So I'm more focused on getting resistances and armor because those are very hard to get basically. For this part, I'll be showing you recorded gameplay featuring the build so you can see for yourself. Overall, I think Companion Druid did significantly get stronger, but then again, you can always say that for a lot of builds across all classes because of the Paragon board changes, as well as the new passive in Runewords. The build can kill all bosses in Torment 4 relatively quickly, and I was able to push the pits as far as tier 90 at least. Well, the gear could have been better, and I still think it is possible to push further than that, but let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Please leave a like and subscribe for more content. Thank you, and bye-bye.